What day is it today?
19th.
19th?
Yeah.
And we're listening to Steve Toon. Guitar.
Bass.
Bass.
Acoustic. Fretless. No lines. I'm lost.
Steve is lost. You mean that?
What's that? Does it sound into... I can't hear. I wish I had my headphones.
Go ahead.
Wanting so bad, I can taste it. As we sit on crabgrass and old cigarette butts, the ants exploring our bodies, exploring every inch glance up at you when you're not looking, and then I close my eyes. Your face in my head, protecting me. Another V8, another cigarette. We talk aimlessly as a steady flow of cars filter into the airport. People rushing to catch their planes. To visit relatives in small Midwestern towns, or a business trip to Vegas while the wife is gone. Or just flying to mysterious lands on the other side of the world as we sit and talk aimlessly. The ashes breaking off the end of my Camel cigarette and landing on the ants' landscape. I turn to you and I open my mouth slightly, and then I close it and shake my head. There's so many things I want to say, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid of your response. The everlasting clock is ticking. It's rather banging like a hammer in my mind. Our precious minutes together are so few. Soon will we be back under the shadow of supervisors and lay victim to the mindless chatter of coworkers. And all I ever wanted to do is just reach out and rest my hand on your neck. But then I realize an ant has beat me to it. A week of rain for a 10-year drought. A piece of bread to a dying man. A match in the wind to start a fire for warmth. It is something, but not quite enough. So here I will wait. The picture of your face still strong in my head, and the ants still exploring. Exploring our bodies. Exploring our bodies.
Steve, what were you just talking about, Steve?
I was talking about what?
That's what I want to know.
Doing strange things with my private areas. I'm in my apartment doing strange things with my private areas, sticking little things. Get off. Okay, there we go. All right, just whenever you're ready. I was sitting in my apartment one night and I realized that my blinds were not closed. And I was doing something weird in there. I was doing something evil, something bad, something my parents always told me not to do, but I did it anyway. And I did it, and it was a strong feeling. It was a good feeling, and I didn't care, and I kept doing it over and over again. But then I realized my blinds were open. They were open, and there was some little man outside looking up at me as I was doing my little bad deed. And I didn't care. I looked at him, I looked at his warts on his face, and his warts were bleeding. Pus, green, beautiful, brown pus was dripping down his forehead into his eyes. And I realized, hey, this guy can't see because his pus is getting into his eyes. And so I walked down, I gave him $1. I said, here, man, here's $1. Go get some paper towels so you can wipe that pus out of your eyes because it's horrible, horrible, horrible. But I didn't care. I just kept giving him $1. money and more money. I said, come with me to my bank so I can open a bank account for you. I will give you anything because you're a bad soul, demeaning of all existence. And on the way to the bank, I met this girl, and she was a deformed child. She only had one arm and 3 legs. I guess one arm to compensate the leg, or one leg to compensate the other arm, but I didn't care. I said, here, take some money. Here's $100. Go get yourself an operation because I can't stand to look at you anymore. You are a horrible deformity of life, and you deserve help. You need help so bad, and I couldn't stand it. So then, on the way to the bank with a bum and the one-armed girl with 3 legs, we walked aimlessly through the alleyways, past the stinking, rotting flesh as it burned under my nose, and it felt so good that I realized I needed an operation for myself to cure the miserable disease that was flowing through my veins, and I decided it was time. It was time to die. Look at my hands as they grow more fingers, as they grow more fingers, as they grow more joints from my deformed and scarred hands. And we all checked into the Hyatt across the street. We had a great old threesome. Me, the girl with 1 arm, 3 legs, me, and the bum with pus dripping into his eyes, and he didn't have any paper towel to wipe it off either. It was just a beautiful experience. The 3 of us sitting there in an apartment watching Jeopardy on TV, and I answered a $100 question. It was, this person is not alive. And I answered, is it me? You get $100 question correct. Would you like to guess again? And I said, no, I don't want to guess again. I want to go back to my little apartment and do nasty things to myself with hot irons and needles and pins and swords and guns and hand grenades and atomic weapons and I felt good about myself and I didn't care. So I put the flame on in the oven and I put my head in there. And I let the hair on my head singe off in a beautiful blue smoke, and it burned hard, and the red cans of beer around my apartment started burning up. Everything was burning a beautiful yellow flame, and I didn't care because I knew I was dead anyway. And then I died a beautiful death. Oh, so beautiful, I forgot to call it a name. So I named it Bob. Bob the beautiful death monster. And I had wonderful nightmares all throughout the night. I will start this incredibly beautiful experience. Thank you.
Well, you know, elephantitis breath formed my mind. It forms my mind in line with you and everybody else. And you know, things that I think of every day, well, they're not worth a bowl of pus. Oh, sorry, Steve, I stole your word. Well, you know, I'm sitting here looking at you guys playing, and I'm having a hard time thinking about something really funny to say right now. So something's going on. We're not quite sure what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. Holy Mother of God, Jesus H. Christ, Jesus H. Christ, Jesus K. Christ, Jesus K. Christ, K. Christ, K. Christ, K. Christ. Script in front of me, I'd be a lot funnier right now. Yes, I would. I'm going to ask them to stop the tape.
Beautiful ending. I would like to dedicate this wonderful song to my mom.
Discuss mental disorders. The primary one being the idiot savant, in this case the musical savant. Here we have subject A. We'll call him Steve, not his real name for the sake of this lecture. He has a functional IQ of 50. He can remember knows his name and he can tie his shoes, but music of unparalleled genius pours out of him. In fact, all he can do is play the piano. He is stuck in an endless loop in time and space, playing music, 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 on and on. It never ends. Notice the curvature of his spine. Notice the glazed look in his eyes and the almost unfocused quality of his stare. Notice the general unkempt appearance and how he sits at the piano like he's foreign to even sitting down. A totally innate posture. Innate idiot savant. What are the causes of this malady? There are many opinions, but it is generally accepted this is a genetic disorder that is traced through the matrilineal line. It occurs very infrequently, and a unique alignment of genetic histories is required for this condition to occur. The probability is 1 in 342,681,332,007.
There's nothing more to say. Today the typewriter ribbon ran empty on me. I was going through a very beautiful poem and all of a sudden it ended and then I realized I needed to go out and buy a new one. I did not want to get in my car, put gas in it, oil, water, everything, and drive to the corner stationery store. I just wanted a new ribbon then, so I turned it around and put it back in. Although the letters were lighter, not enough ink on the pad, I continued to write. My mind was so pure and so good and so 100% feeling through my soul. It felt like a pure energy rising from my body into my brain and then pouring out through the typewriter keys. I need a beer, I thought, but do I really need a beer? Do I just think I need a beer? I'm writing pure material from my own diary of my life throughout this history of 26 years. And do I really need a beer? Maybe I'm just creating. Maybe I can just drink some tap water, some Venice water. Even though it's chunky, it still is pure. Alright, no beer. I will continue. I sit in my apartment on the end of my bed. Yes, I have thoughts of women and love and lost love and likeness, and just looking in someone's eyes, I feel so strong inside. But I will open my eyes and look. I will open my eyes and I will look at the typewriter sitting before me and try desert. I will begin to live. I will begin to create. I will begin to do all the things that I knew I had in me, but just didn't have enough strength to go through. I will walk. I will crawl if I have to, but I will survive throughout this world. Throughout the land I create, every molecule of every sand cell, every beautiful, wonderful experience that I create and then live in my mind. I first create it, and then I live it. And it is smooth and warm and soft, like a woman's hand on my cheek on a late night. While the fires burn outside on the alleyway, I feel warm, and it's not from the fire, it's from your hand touching my cheek. And as your eyes burn through my soul, I realize that I am not alone. There are many, there are so many out there just as me. So many just like me. What a beautiful
New, the hiding of Hadit.
I was at work one
Come,
day and
all
I met
ye,
this
and
person.
learn the secret that hath
I
not
felt so
yet been
strongly about this
revealed.
person that
I
I thought
had
it
it,
would be my best
am the
judgment to write this letter.
compliment of
to
Nu, my
this person.
bride. I am not
And it
extended,
begins.
and Cobbs
Okay,
is the name
today-
of my
When
house.
I first lay eyes
wish
on
to
In the
you,
sphere,
my heart
I am
skipped a
everywhere.
beat.
The
My
center,
lungs
body
held
she,
no
the
air,
circumference,
and a lump
is nowhere
Psychohistoric.
found.
formed in my
Yet
throat.
she shall be
of
known,
the concept
and
My
I
bowels
never.
released all their
Behold,
vile
are very
excrements.
the
familiar with
rituals
first-
My
of
bladder
the old time are
dropped
black.
to the ground and
bodies.
burst
Let
into a
the evil
glorious
ones
yellow
be cast
flash.
away.
My
And after
warts
we
drained
let the good
greenish
ones
brown
be
pus,
purged
and
by
the
the
mucus
cross.
flowed out of
Become
my
Then
comfortable
nose
with
shall
our
like
this
bodies.
molasses.
knowledge go aright.
Live in our minds.
And oh,
I
to
am
hear
the
your
flame that
beautiful
burns in every
booming
heart of
voice,
man,
gently
and in the core of every
flowing
star.
through the air
I
into
am
my
light,
head.
stage.
and the giver
My
of light.
eardrums
Spend their
shattered
whole life
and
Therefore
released a river of
is
blood
the
that
knowledge
cascaded
of
out
me,
of my
the
ears.
knowledge
pedestal of a
death.
body.
My
and
nerve
whose
ending
I
touch
am
shot
the
straight out of my
magician
skin,
and the
and my
exorcist.
spine
like to speak
I
snapped.
about
am the
his
axle of
spirit.
the wheel, and the
And
cube
that's a
in
little
the
more
circle.
nebulous and somehow
Come
defies
unto
words,
me
which are
is a
the,
foolish word, for
province
it is
of
I
the mind.
that go.
So
Who
thank you,
worship
my
all
majestic
Heru
one,
Pa
for
Krat,
filling my
intuitive
day
hath
with warmth.
worship
grasp
me,
or understanding of what
for I am
mean by
the worshipper.
spirit.
Remember,
So,
all ye,
My
that
thesis of
existence
my
is
talk
pure
today
joy,
is that
that all
mind,
the
body,
sorrows
and
are
spirit
but
inexorably
as shadows.
linked,
They pass
that
and
if
are done.
we wish
there is
to
that
develop
which
one,
remains.
we should develop another.
O prophet, thou hast ill will to learn this writing. I see thee hath hate the hand and the pen, but I am stronger. Because of me, in thee, which thou knowest not. For why? Because thou wast the knower.